What's going on, everybody? Kenny Bomb is in the building, and MMA Junkie recently posted a very informative UFC 5 Q&A on their website with some good news and some not so good news. When we found out this game was rated M, a lot of us had big hopes that Pride Mode would be returning, but they have confirmed that Pride Mode will in fact not be in UFC 5. Big hit! They could have got so much out of this M rating if they added Pride Mode, but I'm sure we'll get back to it one day. Now, there's a lot of interesting things they touch on in this article, and we'll be covering those as the days go along. But today, we're going to be focusing on a submission system because there's been some big changes. And this could go really good, or this can go really bad. So we got to talk about it. But first, I see a lot of negativity going around, but you guys got to understand, this is a completely new game on a completely new engine. It's not going to be the same as UFC 4. This could be exactly what we're asking for. We just got to give it a chance. If you're excited for UFC 5, drop a like on this video. But don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, because this is going to be your new favorite spot for everything UFC 5. Now let's get into it.
Run, boy, they coming on.
So the big overhauled submission system now. Some people will hate this and some people will absolutely love it. If you ask me, it all really depends on how they execute it. When it comes to these UFC games, I know a lot of people don't like the mini games that pop up during the fight. You go from having an intense fight to playing the game of ping pong to try to stay in the fight. With these seamless submissions, this kind of keeps you immersed in the fight so you're not worried about a mini game popping up and you actually keep your focus on your fighters. But what are seamless submissions? Let's take a look at the article and see if we can get a bit more information on them. The new seamless submissions functions as a revamped extension of the existing grappling system with faster animations and the removal of mini games. Now this game is going to be 60 frames per second, so with them transitions being buttery smooth, you're going to have to press those buttons at the exact moment in order to either execute that submission or block it successfully. Now this next part might be a bit concerning. Beginners can use grapple assist for help on the canvas, while veterans will have new depths to uncover and enjoy. So what is grapple assist? Will grapple assist be like a little pop-up telling you when to transition? Because that's fine. But if there's like a mode you can turn on where beginners can just flick the stick maybe to get out of your submission, that's not going to be cool if in order to get the submission executed properly, you got to do like quarter circles or back circles. And this is something we see in games these days. You look at Street Fighter 6, they got what they call modern controls, where you can tap one button and throw a Hadouken, where the more advanced players can use the classic controls and they're doing all the quarter circles and throwing the Hadoukens the normal way. That's no fun. If I'm playing online, I don't want to play with somebody who has the advantage of just tapping the button. Even if I can have that advantage, I'm a more advanced player, so I don't want something like that. So hopefully if they do something like grapple assist that's making it easier for other people to grapple your submissions, they can play by themselves. Let's just separate it to advanced players and beginners, because you know what? Something like this is definitely necessary, but they got to handle this the right way. Now, they were asked another question about the seamless submission system where they did elaborate, but just a little bit. The question was, what can you share about the new submission system? They answered, with seamless submissions, it's going to be clean. It's going to be an extension of the ground game. There's no more mini games that's going to pop over your fighters. It's going to be the same HUDs, and submissions are going to flow within one another. I think submissions flowing into one another can be a lot of fun, because sometimes you run into those players who just want to come in there, get you with a submission, and get up out of there. But with this new transition system, if they can get me in their submission and I can press the right button to flip it back on them, now they're in my submission, maybe they can even flip it back and get me back into theirs. Or if you can switch up the game, like let's say I got them in a heel hook and they're pressing the right button to try to get out of that heel hook or reverse it, I can flip it into a leg lock. You know, just transitioning into submissions like that, I think will make this a lot of fun. There's going to be different transitions, submissions, reversals, sweeps, inside submissions, so it's a lot smoother. So it sounds like this submission game is going to be very deep, but again, this can be very broken if they make it too easy for beginners. I just hope they don't do that. So that's all cool, great information, but how does it work? We got this quote from UFC 5 Intel that they picked up from Video Game SI, and it pretty much tells us exactly how it's going to work. You now have to beat your opponent by spotting their counters to what you're doing and reacting accordingly. Technique flows into technique one flick of the stick at a time until one side is unable to counter. Now this sounds very similar to the UFC Undisputed games. It sounds like you may have some type of momentum, health, or like exhaust bar, whatever. I can't think of what I want to say. Stamina. And once that meter runs out, you're done. So I think that's a very interesting take. Again, this could go very good or it could go very bad. I think it sounds promising, but we'll see. Let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section. So that's the submission system, or what we know about it so far. But there's one more thing I want to touch on before we go today, because I told y'all what I wanted to see from the TKOs in the last video, and a lot of you guys just did not understand. So let's do a visual representation. Shout out to Liam Healy who put this together. But in my last video, we spoke about the comparison between UFC 4 and UFC 5. If you look at UFC 4, during the TKO, Max Holloway's arms go flat. You can tell he's out. In UFC 5, when the TKO happens, his arms just stay to his side. Now, I said I wanted it to be like it was in UFC 4, and a lot of you guys said, well, when you get a TKO, your arms don't always go flat. They're not knocked out. They're still trying to defend themselves. Yes, that's not rocket science. What I'm saying is there's no animation when he gets the TKO. Max Holloway just keeps his arms to his side, and I would like to see some type of animation that's showing he's TKO'd, even if he's just still trying to cover up himself with no success. But if you look here, his arms just go to his side. There's no animation or anything. Now that animation when he rolls over is great. Let's look at that again. He looks dazed and dizzy right here. But look at what we got in UFC Undisputed. So here's UFC Undisputed 2010. If you look at this shot, when Shane Carwin gets hit, he leans over to the side when he's in danger. Watch. There's an animation that shows Shane Carwin is in danger before the ref stops it. Now, it might sound nitpicky, but I don't think it's too much to ask for at all. One thing I wanted to see in these UFC games for a long time was the ability to keep striking once the opponent was in danger of a TKO. And they added it back, so I'm so glad we got it back. But you know what? I think we could tighten up the bolts a little bit. I don't want to see them just standing there in a normal state before the TKO happens. All I'm saying is some type of animation needs to be added to show the fighter is in danger before it's all over. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section as well. But thank y'all for tuning into this video. Don't forget to drop a like on it and smash that subscribe button, because we're taking these topics down as this week goes along. Hopefully we see the actual gameplay footage at UFC 293. That's actually going down right now, so I got to get up out of here. Bomb Squad. Let's get to that.
I'ma bang with the news, gotta thank for the views. When I game with you dudes, I ain't came here to lose. Do my thing for the tubes, so my content full of bomb-ish. Got a lot of different things you could choose. Coming with the truth, no cap over this side. We gotta talk about it, lock in and let's ride. KennyBomb.com, that's a big vibe. Like this, leave a comment and subscribe.